everybody, it's Kim, and I had shared that I got the new Tim Holtz that are numbered. Thank you, everybody. Everybody's like, they have a 1, a 2, each one has a different number on it. I watched this video, but I can't remember diddly-do anymore. But anywho, so thank you for that. There's 1, 2, and 3 so far in the sets. Okay, so anywho, people said, well, let us know what you think of them. Now, I am not an artist, I'm a crafter. So I'm not into the testing, the blendings, and the swatches and all of that, but I did give them a go this morning for just a few minutes before work. And I had gotten this sweet, sweet stamp from Yosemia Burns. Yosemia, I believe is how she pronounces it, Burns. I apologize if it was wrong, but it was this one here. And I just thought it was adorable. I'm just now noticing that it had a colored image on the back. But anyway, I have thought about this stamp set and keep meaning to get it out. So I thought, okay, I'll watercolor it. So, and it's called Bird's Return by Stampendous. So I went ahead and stamped it out on the new Tim Holtz, or I don't know if it's new, watercolor cardstock. And I kind of didn't do it real well as far as centering it. But anyway, so I used this to color, and I used my Gina K. This can work, it's amalgam, so that means it will work with watercolor and it won't, and also alcohol inks. So it goes either way, it's neutral, right? Okay, so I went in and colored, and I really love the colors of this. I did each bird I started out with red, and then I looked online, and now that I see it on the back of, I saw, well, this person, the sample here is on Pinterest, and they did them all in different colors. But anyway, so I started playing, and everybody talks about how wide the tip is. It's a woodless, which means the pigmentation, it's all pure watercolor and pigments. No wood. This looks like wood, but it's just a wrapper. This will be like my other items. This will last me centuries, which I don't have centuries left, but you know, great-grandchildren, I'm always saying I'm not going to leave them jewelry and money. I'm going to leave them crafts. And I've got 3 granddaughters, so I'm hoping that they're, so far Emma's really into it, and Tori will be, you know, in Vienna. So anyway, I'm just kidding, but yeah. This is really cool. So yes, they don't have a fine tip on them, but what I did was I went in and colored different, I think I started with this one here. I just went around and shaded, sorry, it helps if I show you, you know, kind of laid color down. And then instead of a water brush, Margaret's talking about how she likes just a regular, instead of the aqua water pens, a little more control with this, because sometimes those pens all of a sudden bleed out a bunch of, right? And then you go in with your brush and paint it. And then I went through and just did, this is actually, I tore it, that's my new thing. And then I went in with some of the brown tones and gave it that vintage look. And I came in with some yellows, and I'm really pleased with how it came out. I also just, and I'll show you, I'm going to color an image. Just went ahead and, like you do on watercolor crayons, just come in and write onto this and pick up color that way. So then if you're getting into a fine detail, then you just want a smaller brush, and it doesn't matter what the tip is like. So if it's a small space, you just use a small brush. I don't know if I brought a small brush down, now that I think about it. Now that I gave that tip, you know, sounding like Miss Authoritarian here. Anyhow, so that would be my way around that, because I really don't want to sharpen these. That, I don't know, I think it just, I don't think they're intended to be sharp. So we'll see as I go along. I may change my mind. So anyway, then I just played around with some, I found some leaf stamps, leaves that I could stamp out, and went ahead and did those. So the pigmentation is really good on these. Now, I went into my Bristol Strathmore. I had a pad of paper, and I found, so I don't, it's smooth surface, but it doesn't say watercolor, but I think this will be okay. I stamped this a while back, so I thought, well, okay, you guys said you wanted to see this, so here we go. And I am not showing my face. I'm in my PJs right now. It's getting cooler here, thank God. So, anyway, tomorrow I get to go get my tooth filled. It's just like, it just keeps, when it keeps on giving. All right, so I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with, and Timmy himself said, push on this, and boy, is a small tip, but it really works. It just flips it up. This one is tumbled glass. So this is one way you can go in, is just to where you want your shading. Lay down your color, just color it in. And this works with any colored pencils. It doesn't have to be his, but anyway. There we go. Okay, so I like to do a light blue for the icy snow look, the cold frozen snow. So I'm just going to color his face in. I hope you can see this okay. Like I said, if I do the overhead angle, it never comes out. It's always narrow, and it's like, yeah, I'm just done trying that. I don't know how everybody else does it. Okay. So then I could come in and I just take my brush, get it wet. This morning was so funny. I had a cup of coffee and this cup, and I just about drank this water, which it was just like, okay, Kim, wake up. So, and then I'm just going in and painting, kind of spreading that around. And really with the snow look, you don't have to do much. Boom. That's the thing I find with watercolors is it's super fast. But I think, sorry, my hand's going to be reaching across. I think I'll go in with a little bit darker. I don't know. Let's try salvaged patina, maybe? I might regret this, but remember, it's just a piece of paper with a stamped image. If I mess it up, I keep telling myself that don't stress out. It's not either I don't like it and I throw it away, or I fix it, which I usually fix it. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit darker, just to want it to show up a little bit more in some places. And then paint it. Reminds me of those little coloring books you used to get, or I think they still have them where the paint is already there, you just add water. Okay, so let's see here if we can see that. So it's just very faint because I just want it to look like snow. So there's that. Now, like I said, the other way, say his mittens, kind of, or you know what I'm going to do is this little piece of wood here is his arm. Now that's pretty narrow, so I don't think I'm going to want to come in directly with the watercolor pencil. So let me see here. And yeah, people were saying this end doesn't really match. Look at that end. That's a light green and that's a brown. So anyway, but that's okay. I can see the end. Just don't go by the end here. Okay. And then I'm just going to take my pencil or my water brush and go right onto the pencil itself, like that. Then I can come in and I kind of test it out on here. Just, I don't know why. I've always done that. And boy, that gives it a really rich color. So it kind of depends on what you're wanting too. Sometimes I dab it if it's too wet. So there we go. See? So, look at that color. I hope you can tell online on video. Yesterday I had, oh my gosh, my good friend Margaret came. She said, I'm going to bring you lunch. She came, it was like Martha Stewart visiting. She came with, she makes these brats that are to die for. A bouquet of flowers from her garden. A salad. I said, my God, you're like Martha Stewart. She was laughing. We used to always say, well, we could have her be the new Martha Stewart. Anyway, and this beautiful blackberry cobbler, whipping cream. I was just like, oh my gosh. And we just sat and visited. It was so nice. So, you know, I feel blessed by having Margaret as a friend. So, now I got to decide. I think I'll do, even though I don't have cardinals here. I don't like that I don't. I want one. Excuse me. And I'm going to go in with candied, gosh darn it, candied apple. My ear is so much better. I really think that I was getting that infected ear for a long time. I think that I had been building that up because I remember last year saying, I just am not hearing as good. And this summer I was just like getting dizzy if I bent over. It was all, my eustachian tubes were filled. It's like, okay, crazy. So now that's not shaded or anything, so then I could go right into it, probably with this again, and just lay down some color. Listen to me, I sound like an expert now, huh? Laying down color, don't you know? Tim Holt says, nothing on me. Ha 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 ha, right. Yeah, he does. He comes up with products. I buy them. He's the smart one. Okay. So there we go. Now, if it comes, the nice thing about watercolor too, I go back and forth. I like either one. It just depends on what's closest to me. Like at the trailer, I was always, but see, I get it on there. I'm a messy painter. I just take a pure water and just wick away that, kind of wipe away anything that went outside the lines. So it's pretty forgiving, which is nice. So now I got to decide. I did the bird red. So many colors to choose from. My goodness, this is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm liking these. I think for the whole set, I got mine at scrapbook.com, because then you get free stuff, which I love the free stuff. Fire brick, I have that color. I think I'm going to do a dark green, though, for his. I don't know. I have such a hard time deciding. I think I'm going to do his mittens red. What the heck? Let's see. I've got my media mat here, which really isn't. Okay. Okay, well, I'll try it. Again, it's just a piece of paper. We gotta, sometimes I think we take it too seriously when we color, like it's gotta be, I always tell the students, it's not going into the museum, art museum, it's just for us to enjoy, and then they kind of calm down. And that's what us as crafters see. I'm not dabbing off my, can you even see what I'm doing? So anyway, Margaret came, it was so sweet. I really appreciated it. It was good for her to come back and see a few people besides just me. I didn't hog her the whole time. Let's see, what is this fire brick? So yeah, and then today had some good moments with a couple students. Yeah, there's this. I call them my tea kettle kids. I think I've mentioned that on here. Well, they both blew steam today, and I just don't even, I don't know. I don't play. I just like, you, now, my room. And then they do a 5-minute little timeout till they calm down, and then we're ready to discuss. And I tell you, it's like, good grief. That's ridiculous. They shouldn't need to do that. I think I'm going to go in with some green here. And I'm just going to color the outsides where you want it shaded, and then come in with your water. And I'm going to try not to overdo the water this time. There we go. And that's what I have so far. Kind of cute. Just so relaxing. I mean, you can have the most stressful day and come home and color. I don't know what people that don't craft do. Here's spruce. I'm glad that ice spruce. Glad they label them, because boy, this one is rustic wilderness. Ooh, I'm going with that. I don't know. I always think, what would I do without crafts? Well, I would have a lot of money, but I'd be so bored. It just is such a release for me to craft and color and just enjoy creating. It's just so much fun. I'm watching everybody here on YouTube. It's just like, oh my gosh, I'm so blessed. All right, prize ribbon. I'm trying to think about his hat. Let's see here. What is this guy? This one is black soot. I'll do that for his hat. And I think I'm going to come in and pick it right up off here. lay it down. I use my hand a lot as kind of the test how much water is in it, how much, yeah, I don't know. I think I got that from when I was painting acrylic, you know, decorative painting. I don't know if they taught me that or if that's just something I started doing. It's probably just a weird thing I do. I've got to get out there and it's cooling way down. Thank you. I'm so happy. I think I'm going to close up the trailer. It's just not going to happen anymore, I don't think. So that's going to be a day's project of hauling all that stuff and throwing the garbage away and cleaning it up. But I sure got a lot of enjoyment out of it this year. I'm really glad that I have that trailer. It's my getaway. Okay, so there's this little hat. So I'm going to keep painting and then I'll share this later. But yeah, I would recommend them. If you've, you know, never tried, it's nice. I like it that I have his every distress oxide he's ever come out with, almost all his distress and a bunch of his glazes that I've never used. So I'm definitely into his colors. So if that's you, you may want to get these, maybe try one set. I just couldn't decide. I was like, well, I'll end up buying all of them. That's just me, though. I'm a very impulsive shopper, as you know. So I keep saying I'm going to go away, but I'm kind of having fun talking to you. So here, I think I am going to go in with the color. So on the birdhouse, it is kind of hard to get these out. Okay, this one is Vintage Photo. And that's what I use, now I remember, on the bird on the edge. On the edge of that paper. So, very fun. So I think I'm just going to go in and color this in and then come back and watercolor it. I keep forgetting that they're not crayons. I keep thinking they're crayons. They're look like a crayon. They color pretty much like a crayon. Okay, so yeah, I like them. I think they're pretty cool, and I'm got a feeling he'll add more colors maybe next year, or who knows. Probably depends on how well they do. So there you go, guys. That's kind of my review. I'm happy with it. I love the pigments in it. If you're not haven't colored much and would like to try coloring, watercoloring is really, a lot of people are like, oh, it's hard. No, it's actually, if you're not worried about, I don't worry too much about shading when I watercolor. It's not my thing. I just want to have fun and enjoy. I say start with these because you get they're a lot less expensive, any kind of watercolor pencils. Watercolor crayons are good. So yeah, I'm having fun. I don't know if I was just starting and wasn't sure I wanted to do watercolor pencils. I might try a different brand, which I have, as you know. But just to get started and see if that's my thing. Watercolor crayons are a good thing. If you own distress oxides, I use those all the time as my watercolor ink. So, but yeah, I really like these. But again, I like to collect Tim's mediums, like his pencils, all that stuff. He shows his stuff, and by the time he's done, I'm like, I have to have that. So anyway, I'll come back another time with this finished and share how it looks, but you get the idea and kind of, you know, if you know somebody that already owns them, like I was telling Margaret, come and try mine out before she invests, but she was saying she was going to order them. So all right, guys, hope that helps. That's kind of my take on them. I love look at these bright colors, right? Now, this is on watercolor paper, and I think that might have helped why it's so bold. This, I do not believe, is watercolor paper. I don't know if that is making a difference. I'm happy with it, but yeah, and this is also on watercolor paper. So, just to give you, I just feel like this is taking the color better than this paper, which is thinner and not intended for watercolor. So there's that. So if you're deciding, oh, it doesn't look like it's much color, check this out, right? Yeah, I was able to come back in a few times, add color on top of color, and I'm very pleased with the outlook on that, or the outcome. So, all right, guys, hope this helps, and we'll talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.